The story behind foreign accent syndrome. Foreign accent syndrome has affected people for the worse. FAS has brought people humility and pain. The pain of not even remembering your original voice, not being able to speak how they once did. The humility of not being able to go outside without being asked if they are foreign or new to the country. One day they are normal, speaking their fluent language, and one day comes to the next, boom, they have a totally foreign accent they know nothing about. Foreign accent syndrome occurs after a traumatic event occurs to someone and causes them to start speaking in a totally foreign accent. FAS can also occur out of nowhere too. Some people can just wake up with a different accent. FAS is not something that can simply be undone. There are ways of attempting to work towards their original accent, but it is very hard. It is also very unlikely for this to happen. FAS does not have an age limit. It can happen to the youngest and even to the oldest. The syndrome also occurs very often all around the world. There were cases dating back to the 1940s, but there was no actual name for it. They had no clue what it was, so they just labeled it under another cause. When someone is diagnosed with FAS, it is also likely the accents are closely related, like English to British or Chinese to Japanese. Foreign accent syndrome does not occur that often. There are less than 150 cases reported. Therefore, many people do not believe in FAS and believe that it is simply fake and made up. I personally believe it is real and has been happening for a long time now. Many people don't realize they have FAS and think that they are just going through something silly, but there's no research found if someone could experience the symptoms of FAS, but the symptoms did not last long enough for it to be reported. FAS has an enormous effect on people's everyday life. The people diagnosed with foreign accent syndrome have experienced more humility than imaginable. Imagine walking into your coffee shop and someone hears your new foreign accent. Then you're bombarded with questions of where are you from and are you new here? You can never get away from the fact that you aren't normal anymore. You are looked at as an outsider. People with FAS can't even remember how they used to talk. They can't remember what it was like without an accent, to the point where they break down in tears. Not only does it humiliate, but it also ruins their friendships and relationships. Many people diagnosed with FAS have lost some of their good friendships because of their new accent. Some have even lost their romantic relationships due to it. The people cannot hear and understand what they are saying, and they feel the person they are with is not normal, and it's not who they fell in love with or became friends with. Also, the loss of self-esteem has a huge impact. Many people with foreign accent syndrome cannot even look at themselves in the mirror and say that it's them. They can't see themselves as the same because of their new accent. They see themselves as ugly or not good enough. FAS can occur from a stroke, brain tumor, sharp blow to the skull, brain hemorrhage, and many other causes that are traumatic events to your brain or your head. There are very few factors that can play into a risky situation: apraxia or high risk of stroke. There are also symptoms if someone might have FAS. Their jaw may feel weird and their tongue from different movements with the new accent they have attained. They would have lower and longer words when speaking. They could combine sentences together or substitute different words for different meanings. These symptoms do not always last as long as others. They could last a few weeks or they could be permanent. If someone believes they have foreign accent syndrome, there is a physical test they can take to see. Not only does the test focus on your speech and tone, it also focuses on your reading apprehension. Like I said earlier, there's a speech therapy available which can help you learn to speak in your original language, but does not always work. They also provide therapy for those who are struggling mentally with their new accent. Many people do not believe you can prevent getting FAS, but there are actually many. Since heart attack and strokes are ways of getting FAS, you should exercise on the regular, make sure to eat smart and stay healthy, try not to smoke or drink, keep a good blood pressure, and keep a healthy weight. There are many more ways, but those are some of the most relevant and important ways. Once someone has attained a new foreign accent, they feel as if they do not belong and become very embarrassed. This comes every time when someone feels targeted, as if they are not good enough or feel out of the normal. Racism is not a joke. It ruins the lives of people. Some people may think having a totally new foreign accent would be cool and something that everyone would want. But little do they know it ruins their way of life. They are unable to communicate with the people like they were once able to do. People struggle to understand them and just simply stop talking to them. People make fun of them and struggle to understand anything they are saying and poke at them for anything that they say wrong or mispronounce. FAS has huge impacts on people's lives, but has not impacted that many people. While there are very few cases, the cases of FAS that have been reported are just as important. It's actually very interesting how closely related the accents actually are. The humiliation that tags along with FAS is unreal. People are driven to the edge when it comes to humiliation and embarrassment, let alone all the questions they are asked on the daily. FAS has many ways to prevent from happening when it comes to stroke and heart attack, but there's not a way to prevent a blow to the head if it were to happen. FAS should not be taken as a joke and is very important.